Hi, this is Sheila. Thank you for. I'm not going to stop it. I'm not going to stop it. These two have had me cracking up since we started. And so I am not going to stop this. It's Friday night, April the 27th, 2018. And I am with my gal pals, my posse, BZ Rieger and Lisa Flamina Rush. And we've been laughing for at least 30 minutes. So now we'll just come laugh over here. So I'm excited for this very first conversation because BZ connected a dot for me that I didn't have. I didn't really read hardly any of the paperwork that you put on the IUV from when Heather was arrested in Washington. I don't know why. I just didn't. I didn't read that before we.
It's a common occurrence.
Apparently, because there's some information that was in that paperwork that as soon as you said that to me, I was like, so in press pay.
But we're not, well, yeah. So let's start with the big view and then we'll go down to the smaller view.
Okay. All right. Well, you tell it because I knew that some of this information was right, but when you told me what you told me, I was like, so please.
Okay. So we started playing with, what did we want to talk about? And I said, well, two things that are pressing. So one of them is, and this is a little bit of a teaser because I haven't finished it yet, but I had a video call with Heather today. And I had different programs running to try to capture all of it. Anyways, the audio one did work, and I just need to clean up the audio, and so I'll publish that as soon as I get it. It's an interesting conversation. It's a fun conversation. I kind of wish Heather could have been on the video, and I'll see if I can work that the next time. I got to get some other program to do that. She looks great. She's fired up. She's having fun. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the tablet was dancing as she was moving around and talking. I said, could you just sit down for a minute? Because the sound's not, you know. Anyways, the thrust and gist mostly of that conversation is the finale. And we'll leave it there. So around all of that, and as I clean up the audio, then I'll put it up. But that got me, well, I've been thinking about it before, but those points really brought it home as something to talk about is a lot of people are not paying attention to what's going on. And a number of people think they're paying attention, but they're really not paying attention to they have very tunnel focused in their attention and not seeing. So the world is a stage is a great metaphor right this moment. And this particular world is a very visible stage. And if you just kind of pan what you're seeing on the stage at various levels of things going on, and you focus, but in a soft focus, you pay attention in a broad and oblique way, I guarantee your jaw will drop and go, oh my God, I didn't really, okay? So there's some really big highlights. North Korea is one of them. I'll put it up, the tree planting on the demilitarized zone line, which doesn't exist anymore. And, oh, this just happened because they happen to have the Olympics. And yeah, right. Okay. What you're seeing is people being freed all over the planet from the Illuminati and the false construct and all of those things happening. And you're seeing them in very specific, demonstrable ways. But not many people are paying much attention to that. And it looks like I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
No, not real. No, the video is a little choppy, but your voice is great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we were playing with, it's really important to pay attention to all that's going on. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean, hang on every video's word, or feel like you have to read every article, or keep scouring YouTube for this, that, the other thing. But this is a great way to really use your innate, which is really very simple HATJ, to just be in the field and magnetize the field to you, to what's going on. And you'll notice them actually highlighting, going up. So you could read the whole story, watch the whole video, encounter whatever that whole piece of any of things that you are. Or you can just kind of glance, like I said, just, do a panoramic view. And so a photograph here, a comment there, a title of something there, a tweet here, right? Where you're actually just passing by it. Because once you're receptive to realizing that it's all connected and you are part of that all, everything will light up for you. You don't actually have to read, watch, listen, whatever the right thing is, for you to actually notice, cognize, take in, avail yourself of, connect to, and you can say it many other ways as well. Because you're then standing in your multidimensionality, and you're using your quantum lenses to take it all in. So good practice. It's kind of fun, and you'll be gobsmacked when you. Sorry. Okay. So then a little bit more specifically. So that was a broad conversation. Now a little bit more specifically. I'll ask both of you, how many people do you feel have actually been reading the paperwork that I've been posting on the IEV from the alleged case?
Well, clearly not many. And, based on what we talked about before we started recording, I've read every single thing since October the 18th. However, I didn't read everything prior. And now I wish I had, because wow. Now I'm
and it goes back a long time.
Right. Yeah, Lisa was reading the stuff that started in 2012, and yeah, we've got it in multiple languages too, all transcribed for you.
Isn't that nice? Thank you.
So regardless of the language that you speak, we actually have it, and you can catch up with it that way. But anyways.
How wonderful.
How many of you do you think read document 98, which was third precipice with the chapter and verse, specificity and particularity? I'm not going to name anything beyond that, because people who either know or they'll go, huh, what? So that's kind of the teaser cliff notes.
Yeah, see, now that one, I'm sure that one's probably a lot more, I would think. At least, I don't know if they read the entire thing.
Well, they heard me.
I don't know. I would like to think that more people read that. Certainly, long time followers of the OPPT, of the IUV. Yeah. I think they may have. I know that an awful lot of folks that were following, our coverage, if you will, of the alleged case, may not have. They may have only heard whatever we read,
right?
Instead of going and reading for themselves, and may not remember much of that.
Right.
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm amazed at at what feels to me how many folks kind of either didn't or don't see the connections that I apparently do see. But it's just my perspective. I had to figure that one out. So in my view, not as many as I would like to think did, but more than the other.
Well, and I think too, even those who were paying attention, possibly, there was even a bit of cognitive dissonance in that, because that was a pretty big deal, and it took it out of just the Tennessee and out of just two nut jobs, a male and a female, and a team that support them. In an alleged case in Tennessee, to DC, to the whole world, to beyond the world, to a whole universal cleanup thing.
Right.
And I know.
Yes, I can see where that would be, even in the most seasoned of followers, where that could cause a bit of cognitive dissonance. Had I not been present, had I not had some of the experiences I've had since then, and had the expansion that I've had, I think I may have, had that same amount of cognitive dissonance, to be honest. But I really think, for me personally, the only reason I didn't have that kind of cognitive dissonance is because of my experiences, and having been there and having been in the energy fields of all those concerned in this, and just that overall feeling. And because there was a lot, that was big for me. And so I could see where that'd be a big thing.
One of the things too that people will notice, and sometimes you'll notice in hindsight, might be a way to describe it, that as you go more quantum, as you play with it and get more familiar with it and have fun with it, you realize that everything, as Abraham would say a lot, it's just the next logical step. So I like that term, although some people may not think, well, that deals with outer space. That's not a logical step. But anyways, so what I'm saying is that when you play in quantum, when something new comes up that may be, if you were over here before and the new thing is here and it's like much bigger or much wower or wilder or whoa kind of a thing than before, there's not as much leap because you're here and you're in the moment. And so now you're already here at this new yowzer kind of a place. So there's not as much jump. So in other words, another way to say it is if your predominant frequency vibrational stance and neighborhood that you're holding is a very high one, and you're continually committed to increasing, expanding that, and flowing with everything that's coming, when the next holy smokeroonies comes, it's not, you don't stop and go, wow, you just go, well, yeah, of course. And which is good, because all those beings who are doing that are playing very important roles, and really close here now. There's going to be lots of wowzers coming, and you won't, if you need anything at all to be a nanosecond to go to that place, even if you didn't see all of it coming, know all on a linear, more linear cognizing kind of way, you'll get there, and then you can flow, transmit energy out to help others that are like have fainted.
Right.
So,
yeah, I feel that coming.
The fun thing here is, if people read, or they may want to go back, they could either listen to the video that we did where I read a lot of it. And maybe the one thing about, reading yourself is always great, because when you read it out loud yourself, you tone it and you have the whole vibrational thing going on.
Right.
The way I read it, actually, I punched certain things for you. So if you weren't paying attention, just listen to where the voice tones differently. And that particular sentence or part of the paragraph or whatever would be a good one to pay attention to. So in that, you would find that there was reference to a threat against POTUS. Okay. So now this is just to finish out this conversation by broadening it to all. And Sheila and Lisa, you were both in the courtroom. So you physically know this. I know this from other ways, but you physically know that when Heather was talking about document 98 and bringing it in, Cynthia Davidson kept going, well, what makes you so special? And this is basically kind of bullshit. And a threat against POTUS, and you're just some weird lame ass chick and I don't know what you're talking about, right? Was that?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yep.
Okay. So now this is a chance for everybody who's playing with this video to broaden out and have, if you've heard of Q or you watch the current president of the United States and the tweets and maybe some of the conversations on the Hill and Nunes and others with, and Grassley and all that kind of stuff, the memos that are coming down and the stuff bubbling up with the FBI and the DOJ, and there's certain tweets and texts that were gone missing and now they found, and now those particular House and Senate committees are now have that, and they will be released to the public, and there's lots of people making videos and doing articles and stuff that, big stuff, and there were threats and this, that, and the thing. Hello? Did you just catch it?
Well, now when we were talking before the recording, I said, as soon as those texts came out and the whispers of threats, I was like, there it is, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. That's what my feeling was, but there was more that I didn't know. And BZ just shared that with me. And I'm telling you, I'm one of those that didn't pay enough attention. Because OMG, BZ, please fill it.
So one of those lovely FBI agents who was a lovebird and having these texts was actually one of the agents who was involved in the nefarious, dangerous, wily, gotta watch her every minute, slippery HATJ in Washington at the kiosk at the White House. And I'll if you want to say the action name, you can, but other than that, I would leave it for people to, there's fun stuff if you actually connect all the dots.
There you go. And I agree. Yes? We'll leave it at that. Yeah, PS are the initials of the famous text, of the famous FBI, of the ones that are, okay. And I'm sure you guys can find it from there. But oh my gosh.
And
I
programming
knew when
note,
that came out that
PS, go read the 98 document.
There you go.
Yeah, well, and that's why I'm saying that I knew that it was connected, but that's like icing on the cake, so to speak, for me.
Right.
And it should be for, well, you would think everybody else.
So
cognitive dissonance or no,
that's right.
It's time, I think, for everyone to finally face it. This is connected to everything.
Everything is connected to everything.
Yeah, this is it.
And so
I love that it's the finale of that.
Yes. So look at all. So now take your 300. Am I frozen?
And BZ's frozen, I think.
Am I frozen? Am I back? Am I frozen? Do I need to change this?
She's frozen again.
Everything is connected to everything.
Yes.
There she is.
Am I back?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. So the last thing I would say on all of this, to finish up this one, is take that 360 panoramic view again of whatever it is that you're seeing, and they're all connected. And actually, if you look at document 98, you can see a lot, kind of like an executive summary, an outline, kind of what do they call, bullet points of the dots that are out there. You read that with some of what Q's saying. So just as each one of us have our own perception filters or our own way of decoding the information that comes into us, that's the same with everybody. I mean, that we're all individual. So we're all one and we're all individual. And so people will use different languaging, people will have different focuses. But if you can broaden out and don't be attached to how someone uses a particular word or phrasing on something, but get the feel of it, then you'll go, oh, wow, because you just put all the different frames, talking in video, so the old-fashioned video that you could feel, frames from the Q or the Heather or the Randy or the this or BZ or Sheila or anybody else, right? There's millions of them out there, and they actually, all the sprockets line up. And again, I'm talking old style video. All the sprockets line up, and all the video will go together, and it's fascinating to see what's happening. So we're in it. I mean, we've been in it for a while, but this is it. It's like, ta-da, in the last couple nanoseconds, and lace up the party shoes.
Yay!
I don't know. I'm so excited all of a sudden. I've been excited. Yes. Oh my. Well.
Oh my.
Things are about to get very interesting.
We could end with a chant. Strozak, Strozak, Strozak. Okay, that's enough hints.
Oh, that was nice.
Love it.
You're so cute.
Okay. Well, we did want to make this one short, so we will end it on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. So the recommendation for this, I will put a link. Of course, there's always a link to the IUV, but I will put a specific link to document number 98.
That'd be good.
I'll make it that much easier. You don't have to go hunt for it. You can just click in the box below this video and read it for yourself. I printed it just to make sure I had it for.
And I'll add one more, I'll add a programming note that makes it even simpler. If you go on the IUV on the right-hand navigation column, you can look at, there's two links. I want to just read you the correct wording on that. So on the right-hand nav, there's two different things. There's one that as it says, current updates on HATJ and RKB. And yeah, I haven't updated it a lot lately, but when things were fast and furious there, and I actually have had to go pay more attention to work for it, that will give you, when there are other posts that have they're all linked in there. And another place right below that you'll see is Eastern District Tennessee Court updates. So again, if paperwork is filed. So Sheila will give you the thing, but if you happen to lose that or can't remember, go on the right-hand nav, and it's always been right there, you know, under some other information as well.
Right. So,
Nice.
well, and the IUV,
Thank
I have
you.
to tell you, for anyone that's just now finding this video for the first time that hasn't followed all of this, and you're going, hey, what's that all about? The IUV, which is BZ's blog, which will also be linked, just the homepage, the landing page will be in this show more section of this video as well. It is the portal for all the information in regards to everything that has been going on with Heather Ann Tucci Giraffe, with Randall Keith Bean, the alleged case, the One People's Public Trust before all of that. So if you find that you'd like to get caught up to speed, everything can be found right there.
Yeah, and a whole lot more.
So with that, we will all... Well, yes, an awful lot more. I love I am constantly on the IUV. I'm constantly looking at the IUV. Of course, you know, BZ's kind enough to put a lot of my stuff on the IUV. So,
and it's actually been up for a while, you know, 24 hours a day, which has been really
Which is nice, isn't it?
I know. Yes, it is.
Feels good.
I guess I invested enough zeros and commas with the new levels of security to keep that working.
Thank goodness.
So you can find a lot of information there, and a lot of other good articles and information there too. And we will also have a link to Lisa's two blogs, Heart Song Musings, and Rush Solutions Tools for Transformation. So let us know. Did you read it? What do you think? Are you suffering from cognitive dissonance? Let me hear from you in the comments. Go ahead. I read them all.
Right. And what's your favorite FBI chant?
There you go. Yeah, what's your favorite? Let's see. Could it be referral? Oh, sorry. Just saying. I'd like to feel bad for those guys, but I at this juncture, I'm just like, okay, whatevs. It's time to like put it down. So, I do love you. Just put it down. Okay. Well, thank you, ladies, and we'll see everybody next time.